All right, good evening, everybody. How are you? Just decided there was a bunch of news going on, so I thought I would talk a bit about some of the things going on in the crypto space. And oh, sorry, got to mute my other screen. That would be bad. Um, so anyway, so let's get into the few of the topics that I wanted to cover tonight. We'll start with the easier ones first. Obviously, everybody's been talking about the Hive OS and the security issues that are that people have been hearing about. When in reality, it's because people weren't doing what they were supposed to do, which is change your password. It's like setting your password as password. If you set your password as password, you're kind of asking for it. So not saying that anybody deserves to have their money stolen. I'm not saying any of that. But bottom line is make sure that if you have, most people do have their shell turned on, the VNC turned on, make sure that you change it from the standard password. And as I commented in Discord tonight, I said this is kind of like um, you're out with five of your friends and a bear comes running. How do you stop yourself? How do you stop the bear from eating you? Well, you run faster than at least one of your friends. Uh, I know that sounds kind of harsh, but in this case, there's going to be plenty of people out there that won't change their passwords, will never have heard any of this. So the people that are preying on this vulnerability aren't trying very hard because they don't have to. If everybody changed their passwords, then they might try to go, a little bit deeper than that. But as I understand it, it is people that have their rigs not sitting behind a router, as well as not changing their password from the standard password. So bottom line is, take a little bit of time, change your password, and that way you basically protect yourself quite a bit. So enough said about that. There's definitely been some really good videos out there. So you have both Serpent X Special Forces as well as Son of Attack did really good videos on the issue and what to do and such. So anyway, enough said about that. The other thing that came out today, which I found very interesting, is all these people were coming out on Twitter saying Cardano's been approved by the SEC. I'm like, why would they approve a cryptocurrency? It isn't what they do. So I was very confused by that. So I started searching through the news, trying to figure out what they were talking about. And then I finally found it. So Grayscale got approval from the SEC to create their large cap fund, which includes Bitcoin, Ethereum, Litecoin, Bitcoin Cash, Chainlink, as well as Cardano. So the SEC didn't approve Cardano. They approved a fund that will include Cardano amongst its assets, securities, whatever you want to call it, coins, whatever. It will include that in its investments. So that doesn't mean that the SEC inherently approved Cardano in all the underlying technology and stuff like that. It just means that it gave permission to Grayscale to create this large cap fund and include it amongst their assets. That's all. So is it significant? Yes, absolutely, it's significant, but not because of the approval. It's because now Grayscale is going to obviously fund that, and that's just something else out there. It's like a stock becoming part of the S&P 500. The stock is going to go up if it suddenly gets included in the S&P 500 because there's all these S&P 500 funds out there. So they have to sell whatever is being removed and buy whatever is being included. So those stocks go up all the time when that happens. So in this case, Grayscale has opened this fund. They will be getting new investment into this fund. And as they get new investment, that will create a demand for all of these cryptocurrencies. But Bitcoin, not so much. There's already Bitcoin Grayscale. I think there's something else for Ethereum out there as well. from Grayscale. I don't know. This is their third fund, so I don't know what the other two are. Sorry, I didn't get a chance to research that. But for all of these coins, Litecoin, Bitcoin Cash, and Chain, especially Chainlink as well. Yeah, this is a good thing for all the coins, in my opinion, as far as providing a little bit of upward um, momentum on those assets, on those coins. So anyway, so that's what's going on there. I happen to like Cardano quite a bit, so I found that very, very interesting, and we'll see with all the things going on with that coin if we start seeing some appreciation in a generally sideways moving market. So lastly, the thing I wanted to talk about was this whole thing going on with Edgar. I forget what his last name is or what. Anyway, he came out and said that I have this software that will help to create a reorganization, basically a type of fork is the way I understand it, and basically create chaos is really what it comes down to. As Bitsby Trippin did a good video, and he's supposed to be doing some more in-depth videos on this as he learns more, but the way he described it was that this is like, MEV is basically saying there's all these transactions out there and none of them have actually taken place. So we're going to take a look at what somebody wants to do, copy it, put everything in place so that we can take advantage of that transaction that hasn't happened yet. So you can say whether or not that's ethical or not, because you're stealing somebody else's idea of what they want to do. But what this guy's proposing and what he wants to try to make happen with his software is actually after somebody else has a transaction that's very profitable, they have the ability to then go in after the fact and say, yeah, I kind of like that idea. And yeah, it's now mine. I'm going to do all these different things. And now that reward is mine and not yours. So that is as Bitsby Trippin had said, it's kind of like changing the score of a ball game after the fact. Somebody won, and then somebody comes in afterwards and says, no, you thought you won 8-2, you actually lost 8-2. I mean, something that seems ridiculous, but that's in essence what this is trying to do. So really what it comes down to, I see this as a whole bunch of FUD. I'm going to put my tinfoil hat on here, and I looked at some of the details of it. So Bitsby Trippin put in a link to what would it take to take advantage of this. And it's very, very involved, and you need a lot of hash rate. So the example this person used was 30%. Well, 30% hash rate of Ethereum is a ton. A lot of things would have to change in order for somebody to be able to take advantage of it by gaining that much hash rate. The mining pools aren't going to do this. The big mining pools, they have too much at stake to create this chaos that will only depress the value. If this actually goes through, like somebody actually is able to take advantage of it, it will obviously drive the price of Ethereum down because it's a vulnerability. And anytime you have, I mean, look at what happened. It's similar to a vulnerability such as a 51% attack. In this particular case, you don't need 51% in order to take advantage of this, but you have to keep retrying. And the other part of it is that if you have all this hash rate, well, if you have all this hash rate and you really want to make this happen, well, that means you're no longer participating in the main chain. You're constantly trying to go back and grab this one block that was really, really profitable. So you're giving up the potential of something that is easier for you because you're going to get 1 out of 3 blocks. If you have 30% approximately, you're going to get 1 out of 3 blocks. So you're giving up all the potential earnings from those those blocks that you'd be obtaining in order to try to chase this uh, this one block that may be very profitable. So, and again, they then chase that one block, but then it drives down the value of Ethereum, which isn't good for any of the mining pools. They want this more steady value. So it really doesn't make a lot of sense as to why this would happen. I know Edgar was like then saying, "Well, hey, drive your hash rate over to my pool," in trying to attract disgruntled miners to come over to his pool. Well, I mean, I know it was something that we canceled, but did we really think we were going to be able to get to 51% if everybody changed over to Ethermine? I highly doubt it. I thought if we could move it a few percentage points where we could show that we could have an effect, it would have been interesting. But anyway, point being is that he is not going to be able to obtain the amount of hash rate in order to make this happen. So, like I said, I believe it's a whole bunch of FUD. And I really believe that there is a lot of, I believe that there's some people in the background that at face value, it appears that there's this one guy. I don't believe it's just the one guy. I believe that there is a drive, and somebody believes that by showing this vulnerability, that it will drive Ethereum to proof of stake faster. Remember, way back when, Ethereum All Core Devs Group, when we were talking about 1559, they said if there was a direct and imminent threat to Ethereum, they could do an emergency switch to proof of stake. So I believe that this is driven by people that want it to move to proof of stake quicker. Now, as BBT pointed out, this could still happen. The same vulnerability still could happen on proof of stake. It's just even more complicated on proof of stake. So it'll be interesting to see how the story comes out. If it's completely around a proof of work vulnerability, that will kind of show their cards that this is really what they're trying to affect. They're trying to affect the change to proof of stake faster than what the Ethereum All Core Devs Group really wants to move to. So anyway, that's my tinfoil hat look on it. I really believe that there are people that are really, really want things to move to proof of stake much quicker. I mean, if you've got 32 ETH locked up and you see this delay of proof of stake, doesn't that kind of annoy you? I would, if I had 32 ETH locked up, I'd be a little annoyed because they got to move to proof of stake first and then figure out a way that I could pull that money out if I ever wanted to. Right now, those 32 ETH are completely illiquid. They cannot do anything with them until Ethereum moves to a point at which they allow that to happen. I mean, a lot of people equate that to ETH 2.0, which isn't the merge. That's not proof of stake by itself. It's like the second step of proof of stake. Get to proof of stake first with an ETH 1.0 blockchain, and then move to what has been typically called ETH 2.0, which is kind of this mythical all-in-one where everybody wants to get to. And it's not going to be this one step. It's going to be steps along the way through hard forks, even after they go to proof of stake. So anyway, bottom line is, as a miner, I am not worried about it at all. It's not going to happen. That's my opinion. That's all it is my opinion based upon what the little bit of research I have done. And my opinion is that there are some people in the background with motivation to try to drive the Ethereum group to an emergency proof of stake fork. And by showing this vulnerability, it plays into what was stated before, which was if there's an imminent threat, we can do an emergency fork to proof of stake if we have to. Now, it's going to be a very painful process if they were to do that, because they probably have to go offline for a few days as they got everything lined up. It would not be this smooth merge from proof of work directly to proof of stake. So anyway, that's my 2 cents. Let me see if there's been any questions that have been out there. Let's see. Oh yeah, it'll be on YouTube. Don't worry about that. So Pearl, just a quick as far as where I came from. I've been mining for about 2 years, so certainly not an OG, but have an electrical engineering background. I'm very curious about everything. Became unemployed in November and had a lot of time on my hands. So I really dug into 1559, how it worked, what the possibilities were of having some sort of um, collaboration with Ethereum to see if there was any type of block reward increase. And so I got to know a lot of people in the Ethereum community and had a lot of discourse within the Ethereum Discord channels. So got a reputation there as the, shall we say, calmer mind, as opposed to quite a few miners that were in there that were just angry. I was, looking at it from the standpoint of what would I do if I was in their shoes, when I've been stating all along that I'm going proof of stake, and why are we doing 1559? So anyway, so that's kind of where I learned a lot about Ethereum, and that's kind of what people know me for right now is how I dive into the different cryptocurrencies, but mainly Ethereum. That's really where my expertise lies, because that's what I was doing starting in December when I was out of work and working with them. And now that I have a new job, I'm still obviously keeping up with it. So anyway, so that's kind of just a little bit of a brief history of where I came from. Yeah, Jim D, I guess that's one way to look at it. Like I said, I believe it's a whole lot of nothing. In a lot of cases, I think it might be easier to do a 51% attack than to do what he's doing. But anyway, again, just my opinion. So as far as what I do, and again, this is not financial advice. I sell some, I hodl most of it. I trade into different cryptocurrencies, depending what I feel like is going on. I've been out of Ethereum. I've been in Ethereum. Currently, I have some Ethereum. So yes, I do hodl quite a bit, but I also trade and I also sell to pay for more graphics cards. So a little bit of everything. I won't go into it's my blood type. Anyway, thank you for showing up, Gallo. Actually, thanks for everybody for showing up. I appreciate it. Tar Heel Crypto, CC, Pearl, Rondi. I appreciate you guys all being here. Jim D. I don't know how to pronounce the person's name from Venezuela, but I appreciate you being here as well. You asked, what is Grayscale? So Grayscale is basically a fund management company, a mutual fund management company, but specifically they have funds for cryptocurrencies. And as far as I know, they're the only ones that do. So that's where they've made a name for themselves in the cryptocurrency community, because, as you know, with funds, that can drive a lot of investment if funds are investing in it. So, okay, so Gallo, will EIP 1559 be further delayed? No, absolutely not. They've gone through all the testing. Testing's all worked fine. Why they're waiting until August 4th? Yeah, some of the devs are asking that same question. Testing went just fine. Why are we waiting? I honestly, I'm not really sure why they put the date off as far as they did, but it's still in plenty of time for it's like a week before the difficulty bomb was to go off. So the timing's fine. I don't mind having a little bit of extra time to mine on Ethereum with the fees. I know today the price of Ethereum went down a bit, but the cost of gas went up. So we were still maybe slightly more profitable, I think, or about the same, even though the price of Ethereum went down. I mean, I'm talking in dollars. So anyway, it'll be interesting when August 4th comes around. It'll all depend on where the price of Ethereum is at that point, as well as how much the gas is at that point. If gas will be where it has been currently, or where it has been in the recent past, of being less than 10, yeah, if that's the case, then it will be a whole lot of nothing of a change. So we'll see. And we will see as far as what the inclusion fee brings as well. So it'll be interesting. Hey, Red Panda, thanks for showing up. Appreciate it. Let's see here. I guess that's the end. Does anybody else have any questions? I didn't really plan on making this ad. Made it almost a whole half hour, I guess. So didn't think it would be that long. So hey, Red, when are we playing StarCraft? And by the way, Tech Shinji put words in your mouth by saying that you wanted to do StarCraft 2 and I wanted to do StarCraft 1 since I've never played StarCraft 2. So you're okay with StarCraft 1, right? You're good with that? You don't care one way or the other? Inquiring minds want to know. Anyway, I haven't played in like forever. I played for the first time last night for a couple of hours just to kind of, try to remember. I haven't played StarCraft in probably 20 years. So it's going to take a little bit of review to get to the point where I can actually go through those build procedures quickly to make sure I don't get killed right away. So anyway, so I don't have you killing me off with a Zergling attack right away. That would suck. Anyway, yes, ban Tech Shinji is not even here to defend himself. So shame on him for not showing up for my live stream. Anyway, I know I'm conflicting with Teaspoon Miner. I didn't realize he was going live tonight. So, but I had these things on my mind that I wanted to talk about. So, all right, if nobody has any other questions, I won't keep you. So, hey, this is what we need to do. Let's all go to Teaspoon stream and posting it in chat right now. So let's all raid his channel. And Gallo, do you play StarCraft as well? So anyway, right now, yeah, Zerg Rush attacks suck definitely. So anyway, all right. Well, I will let you guys all go. We'll leave the StarCraft discussion for another night. But yeah, I look forward to getting beat by Tech Shinji and Red Panda most likely. But that's okay. I enjoy playing it. So anyway, all right, guys. Well, thanks for joining me. I appreciate it. And you guys all have a great night.